So many of you asked me what kind of books I use to teach, what kind of method I'm following. That's what we're gonna do today. I have a bunch of books to show you. I have a lot to talk about, so let's get started. Hi guys, so welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Magdalena. I am a professional concert violinist. I have been teaching violin for over 20 years. I work for the professional symphony and I also teach at the college. So yes, there is a lot of happening in my life. So I apologize for a lack of uploads basically, but I've got a lot of questions from you guys asking me basically which method I follow. Do I teach Suzuki? Do I teach a classical violin? So I basically brought with me here a bunch of books and we're just gonna go over it, all right? Because there is a lot of different things and components to this whole method. So let's just be clear. Most of my students who started with me are elementary school kids. So I'm talking about, okay, here's my deal. I don't like to teach a very little kids, and I do have my kind of philosophy behind this. I don't take any 3, 4, or even sometimes 5-year-old. 5-year-old will have to be very, you know, very mature for their age in order for me to start teaching them. So most of the time I'll tell parents, wait till they are 6. I think the 6 is a golden age to start. And I know a lot of you are gonna disagree with me, but you know, it's fine. There is a lot of different methods. There's a lot of different teachers who has different, you know, view. But for me, I've learned from, you know, years and years and years of teaching that I would like to start with a 6-year-old or above. So for those kids who are in the elementary school, and let's say they start at the age of 6, 7, 8, or you know, 9, whatever it is, I like to follow and start with these books. So basically I have a book. This is a series of, there's more than 3. I do have 3 and I use basically only 3. I don't follow with the book 4. This is called A String Builder, and this is by Samuel Applebaum. And I know this is, it depends what country you're listening from. I live in the US, so this is basically what I use. I know this is not gonna be good for, you know, might not be good for other countries, but that's what I like to use. So basically this is book 1, the red one is book 2, and the pink one is book 3. These, in my opinion, throughout all those years that I have been teaching, and like I mentioned, I've been teaching for over 20 years now, this, and there was a lot of, you know, errors on my way as well, but these are, in my opinion, are the best method for younger children. They learn very well. It's very well thought out, you know, like process. I think it just makes sense, you know, everything makes sense. You start with the open string and you slowly, you know, you have all the fingers introduced, you know, it just makes sense, you know, especially for, like I mentioned, for a younger kids. And then, you know, when you enter the book 2, usually there are going to be some more sharps added, like higher third fingers, you know, or the flats introduced, you know, that's where more difficult start happening. And then in book 3, the shifts, so they are starting to shift into the 3rd position. So basically most of this book is about a 3rd position. There's also, they're introducing some harmonics, double steps, you know, and all the jazz. So basically these 3 books for my beginner students, in my opinion, are the best, and I like them for my elementary, you know, elementary school students. Some of you might ask, do I use a Suzuki books? I am not a Suzuki teacher, just to let you know. If you want to know why and what I really think about a Suzuki, give it a thumbs up to this video. This needs to be a separate video, okay? Now, I'm not against the Suzuki books, but I am against the Suzuki method. And I do not use the Suzuki books until they are done with book 1 of these. Okay, so basically after they are done with book 1, they are on the basic level to start with the Suzuki 1. I basically start a book 2, and along with this I go to book 1 Suzuki, so they can actually play some simple tunes, which I personally like, you know, the way the Suzuki book have them. This one is volume 2, by the way, but I do have like volume 1 and 3, I think, somewhere. So anyway, yeah, so that's basically what I do. What else I like to do as they get a little bit, let's say, second half of this book, of book 1, I also like to add this book. It might be an old, by the way, the front that I'm showing you guys, some of them might be old editions, so don't be confused if you see a different cover. This is called A Tune a Day, and this is a beginning scale book. So this is just something that they can start slowly working on once they kind of are towards the end of that book 1. So basically, again, those are very basic, you know, scales that are in the first position, and I think they are brilliant. So obviously you're gonna have some slurs there, you know, some 2 notes on the bow, 4 notes on the bow, and there's later on there's also some double steps, which are a little bit more tricky, but you know, something that will work into it. So basically this is like my these are the books that I will use for my very beginner students, and obviously when they finish with the songs on Suzuki book 1, we go to book 2 and book 3. I never go past book 3 of Suzuki, because book 4, 5, 6, they actually have pieces that it's better to buy in separate, you know, editions, because they have a better bowings and better fingering. This way I don't have to change everything, and I also don't appreciate how much fingering is written in the Suzuki books, so that's why I never pass book 3. So that's basically for my younger students. When I have a student who is older, let's say they're in the middle school, high school, adult, or even I do have a couple of students in college which are not music major, they are just taking violin as an elective. These are the books I'm gonna use. So again, it's a series of 3 books that I like to follow. So this is called All for Strings, and this is Comprehensive String Method, and this is by Anderson and Frost. So this is book 1, this is book 2, and the blue one is, no, I'm sorry, the blue one is book 2 and this one is book 3. So these are the 3 books that I will use for older students. Okay, the reason I don't use the other one, because the other ones are a little bit, I would say, slow. It needs a little bit slower progress, so usually little kids just needs a little bit more time. These are going a little bit faster, so I kind of, you know, again, throughout the years I noticed that this is just so much better to use with the older kids, you know, who has a better sense of focus, and you know, they understand things quicker, they catch things quicker, obviously, so it's very easy to actually use these books. The system is pretty much the same. First you just learn, you know, open string notes, basically, you know, note by note. It just goes a little bit faster, you know, you have all the slurs and so much. Then you adding again more difficult sharps, flats, and you know, so on, and then you have a third position introduced as well. So basically that's what I will do with my older kids, and again I'll follow the same kind of method. After book 1 or around the end of book 1, I'll start using pieces from Suzuki, because they are relatively easy, and you know, they like to play some kind of tunes, you know, that's not just, because most of the, look at this, most of those little songs, although they are some all longer one, but most of these little tunes, you know, they are very short, they're like 8 measures long, you know, so they actually like to, you know, students like to actually get the actual piece, you know, if you know what I mean. So I will introduce, you know, the book 1, then book 2, and sometimes book 3. It really depends. I want to mention one more thing. In the past, I used to teach younger kids, and younger, I'm talking about below age of 6, 4 years old. I think I even had a 3 years old at some point. And just to let you know, I'm not gonna spend tons of time on it, but these are the methods that I was using for younger kids. It's called Adventures in Violin Land, and this is by Shirley Givens. She I know she used to teach at the Peabody Conservatory. Excellent violinist. So she basically wrote a series of books. There's tons of them, you guys. I don't have all of them. The only cons of those books is that they're super expensive and not all the parents wanted to buy, so I ended up buying a few of them and just photocopy them basically. You know, I know it's not the best, but these books were expensive, but these are the best for little kids. Okay, they can actually color them, they can, you know, look at some pictures, and it's just so much. This is probably the best for little kids, not a Suzuki. No. This is if you have to really teach 4-year-old, 3-year-old, which I don't recommend, but you know, some kids responded very well to this. You have some rhythm exercises, and those are really good books. And you know, it's like book 1A, 1B, 1C, and then you know, you go to level 2, and there's like so many of them that literally you can go bankrupt, you know, buying these. So I just want to let you know that this method exists, and it's really good for those tiny little students that you will have. So much better than any Suzuki method. But yeah, okay, so let's talk about some other books that I like to also use. It depends on the age of the students. Mainly is for little kids. You know, sometimes those 6-7 years old, you know, they have a hard time. They understand the rhythm, you know, and everything I'm trying to explain them. Obviously I talk about the rhythms, you know, the value of the notes, you know, everything. And sometimes you need some help. So I found these two books to be quite nice. Those are like theory books. So you have book 1 and book 2, and you know, not all the exercise at once are good, but there are some very simple, you know, like a little kind of quizzes, and the kids likes to, you know, fill up things and draw notes and G clefs and, you know, other things. So this is actually very good. This is like a little help, you know, that then you can assign, and it does help kids quite a bit. I also like the one, I didn't bring it with me, it's called the Jankowski thing. It's called A Note Speller. So that book is just particularly for learning the notes, you know, on the violin, you know, which finger belongs to what note on what string and so on. So this is also good. This was more like theory kind of, you know, and again, I usually like photocopy, you know, some of the pages, and I'll just have them, you know, filled out, and they do like it. For older students, it's not necessary. They catch it very quickly. They understand everything very quickly. But I'm talking about those, you know, elementary school kids, especially the younger one. They do like to use these books as well. Another supplements that I do highly recommend, and this would be for, again, the little kids, or even those tiny little precious. This is the, I don't think, is this the same series? It's kind of, yeah, children's music series is called. These are like different kind of, again, some of them, let me show you. Like some of them will teach you, you know, certain notes. You know, so like G stands for giraffe, you know, and then you write a letter G, then you wrote your G notes and all of it. So it's kind of fun. Kids likes to do that. You know, again, this wouldn't be for, you know, middle school or high school or anything like this. This is strictly for little kids. It does help quite a bit. Then you have a book called Fun with Rhythm. So obviously those are like little, you know, rhythm exercise, which what I like to do is basically clap with them. You know, we do this clapping kind of exercise. It just takes 2-3 minutes, you know, out of the lesson, and explain about the notes. And then we have a little games. Okay, so I have this book, and again, this is like explaining a little bit more about the hold of the violin. There's hold of the bow, you know, like a little, again, more rhythmical exercise and all the jazz. And the last one I have is, again, this is for you know, spelling. So you have all the notes that you have in here, again, you know, with the nice pictures. I hope my camera can pick it up and you can see what is there, you know, all the fingers and all of that stuff. So yeah, so basically these are like little, you know, supplemental books that I will use along with this. I don't ask parents to buy usually this, because I don't use I don't follow all of them, and I don't use like every single page, you know. So I have to really figure out, because not all the kids need it, you know. Some kids are just so bright and they'll just get it so quickly, they don't need it, and some of them just need a little boost, a little bit help. So, you know, as a teacher, you cannot set, you know, like that's where you have to be by the time you are, I don't know, 3 months into studying. Or no, there's no such a thing, you know. Like, I am approaching every single student very individually. So, you know, I'm really molding my lessons, and, you know, towards that particular student. And like I said, some of them will go faster, some of them will go slower, some of them needs more help than others. So, but that's basically what I use. Alright guys, so this is pretty much it for today. I think I show you everything. I didn't talk about the etudes and all the stuff, because we are getting into like more advanced kind of a zone, you know. But well, for the etudes, you know, by the time you get to book 3 of those 2 methods that I show you, Wolfart, you know, then eventually Mazas, you know, all of it. Obviously, you know, and a lot of concertos and, you know, different things. You just get very wide. But I truly wanted to focus on those basics and things that I do when I start with the students, you know, mainly. And I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know. So don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy this video, if I found this quite helpful for you. And yeah, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. And if you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.